from this case. As we go out to vote today, let's remember that the most important party is Nigeria. Please vote peacefully and encourage others to do the same. Nobody's political ambition is what's destabilizing the peace of this nation. Yes, this is coming from Atiyemi Fash. Please let's remember that the peace of Nigeria is the most important. So when you go out there to vote, please vote peacefully and go home. This is coming from at Baba Idris 090. Card readers not working in almost all polling units in Gambari Ward 1, Ilorin. Even if it doesn't work, I hope that the APOs and the POs will give this to the RACTEC to solve that little problem. That is not an issue. That's why we have the RACTEC at the polling unit, and this issue, I am very sure, will be solved in no time. Nigerian decides. This is coming from at Oli Adaviv from Canada. I am on my way to vote out Buhari. In case you don't know, I'm fully articulated. Who is with me? Wow, this is one of the supporters of Atiku. Okay, this comment is coming from at Iritiola Doi. Making my way to my polling booth, I'm amused by the number of middle-class Nigerians fit family around my estate, shaking my head. In Nanogo go vote, indeed, they are part of the problem. But seriously, how would you be a middle-aged Nigeria and today is the day that you have to exercise your civic rights and you are indoors sitting and you have a PVC for that matter? Please do go out and vote and be a part of a better Nigeria. Thank you. This is coming from at T-Boy Wonder. I hope the same faith that will before ballot box snatchers will extend to underage voters. This is coming from, okay. This is also coming from Ogakachi, at Ogakachi. Just having the feeling that at Buhari just voted for Atiku. Oh, really? Is that really possible? Will the president see himself not fit for the post that he has been contesting for and then go ahead and vote his opponent? I think that is not possible. This is coming from Atiyemi Fash once again. Tomorrow, Nigerian youth will show President at Buhari at the polls that they are not lazy. This is wonderful. This statement was made yesterday, and wow, I'm very, very impressed that Nigerians are really ready to show the president that they are really not lazy. All right, this is coming from at Niyi Africa 01. Elections, we won't shoot ballot box snatchers. IGP at Please Nigeria declares. Do not be afraid, nobody is going to shoot anybody. Go out and vote. Nigeria is a peaceful nation and it is going to remain that way. We have another one coming from at Omojua. If INEC has a 45-day rule where a presidential candidate cannot withdraw from the race, that rule must include the closure on such candidates' ability to endorse fellow contestants. This is not primary school elections. Wow, this is nice. This is a serious business, actually. It is not a joking business. Another one coming from at Faith Breed. Today, the 23rd of February 2019, Nigerians will decide at the polls who will be the president of our great nation for the next 4 years. My prayer is that the candidate who has the fear of God and the interest of Nigerians at heart wins. Hopefully, we also pray that the candidate who has the best interest of Nigerians at heart truly does win. That is what every living Nigerian hopes for. This is coming from at the Buhari, just peeping to check if I shall vote for me or that Adamawa brother. Oh, really? Doesn't the president trust his wife anymore? Definitely. Who knows? Okay, we are still live at CRN Nigeria. You can keep your tweets coming. Just make sure you tag us at CRN Nigeria on each of your tweets. We are going to read every of your tweets out and make sure that you also get involved in the live coverage of the 2019 general election. Another one coming from at Bama Sopem. We are here still waiting for them. Even if they come by 1 p.m., we are ready to cast our votes. The whole family is supporting same candidate. This is really impressive. Please do not go home except when you are done voting. No matter how the INEC officials delay to get there, make sure you vote before you leave. Thank you very much for watching. My name remains Rebecca Irabo, and do not forget to tweet and also tag us at CRN Niger.
As the 2019 presidential election approaches on February 16, Citizen Information Network gives you a rundown of some of the presidential candidates and their political parties. Kingsley Moghalu, YPP. Kingsley Moghalu is the candidate of the Young Progressive Party, YPP, for the 2019 presidential election in Nigeria. Moghalu was born in Lagos in 1963. He is the former United Nations official and professor in international business and public policy at the Tufts University Fletcher School of Law and Diplomacy. His campaign promises include 1 trillion naira venture capital funding of the creative industry and startup businesses in Nigeria, prioritizing the reformation of the Nigerian police, establish a seaport in eastern Nigeria, and complete the second Niger bridge within 2 years. Omoyele Sowore, AAC. Omoyele Sowore is the candidate of the African Action Congress. He was born in 1971. Sowore is from Eseodo, Ondo State in southwest Nigeria. He is a Nigerian human rights activist, pro-democracy campaigner, and founder of online news agency Sahara Reporters. His campaign promises include to pay workers 100,000 naira living wage, youth corps members to earn 50,000 naira monthly allowance, legalization of Indian hemp. Adetokunbo Olufela Durotoye, ANN. Olufela Durotoye, born in Ibadan, Oyo State in 1971, is the presidential candidate of the Alliance for New Nigeria for the 2019 presidential elections. Leadership expert and motivational speaker, he is the president of the Gemstone Nation Builders Foundation, a non-profit training youth towards transformational leadership and social change. Below are some of his campaign promises if elected. Increase education and literacy rate by up to 90%. Defeat Boko Haram with human intelligence and return internally displaced persons, IDP. And diversify the economy by promoting non-oil sector growth through agriculture, mines and steel. Atiku Abubakar, PDP. Atiku Abubakar, an indigene of Adamawa State in Nigeria, born in 1946. He is the People's Democratic Party (PDP) presidential candidate for the 2019 presidential elections. Atiku served as 11th Vice President of Nigeria from 1999 to 2007 under the presidency of Olusegun Obasanjo. Abubakar is a co-founder of Intels, an oil-serving business with extensive operations in Nigeria and abroad. He is also the founder of Adama Beverages Limited and AUN, both in Yola, Adamawa. Campaign promises include privatization of economy, to end pro-Biafra agitation, and 40% cabinet seats for youths. Muhammadu Buhari, APC. The incumbent president, Muhammadu Buhari, is the presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress, APC. Buhari was born in 1942. He is an indigene of Dara in Katsina State, Nigeria. Buhari is a retired Major General in the Nigerian Army and previously served as the nation's head of state 31st December 1983 to 27th August 1985 after taking power in a military coup d'etat. He also served for the office of President of Nigeria in the 2003, 2007 and 2011 general elections before defeating the incumbent president Goodluck Jonathan in 2015 to become Nigerian president. If re-elected, Buhari has promised to do the following: infrastructure in terms of improved roads, rail and power, agricultural development, and human capital enhancement services, healthcare and education. Citizen Information Network will be bringing you live updates and live feed on the 2019 presidential election. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done so at CIN Nigeria. You can also follow us on all social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. Citizen Information Network will be streaming live. To be part of this, log on to our website www.cin.
Yeah, so what is your expectation on today's election? Can you say something?
Okay, all of us here, we are very, very prepared to vote a candidate of our choice. Here, in Narai, but at this time, this is about 7:50.
Narai, which part of Nigeria is Narai?
Nigeria is Kaduna State, Kaduna South to be precise. And at 7:15 a.m., we have not seen any INEC official here. We are all prepared, we are out here, we've collected our numbers and we are waiting for them to come so that the election will start. But we have not seen anybody here and we are still waiting for them.
But are you confident with the preparedness of INEC so far in conducting today's election?
I can't tell. I've been in Kaduna, we only hear them from the channels we watch. As at last week, they told us they are prepared, but as at 2 or 3 hours to the election, we cancelled the election. This morning we are not aware, we are not sure of what is coming up from INEC. Early morning today, I on my television to
innigeria.com.
To the viewers. Okay, I'm Senator Rufai Hamdan Akise, and I was born and brought up in Kano. I was a civil servant, a businessman, and a politician. I was a civil servant and worked under state government and left as state accountant. I transferred my service to the federal government and left service as the director. I'm in politics. I've been in politics for a long time. I started politics a long time ago. I was a member of the Federal House of Reps. I was in the Senate. I was the first pioneer national chairman of the CPC, like you rightly said. I am now in PRP on principle, because I was in PRP in the initial PRP. That was when I started politics. That was in 1978. Now, 41 years after, I'm still in PRP, and I'm contesting for the senatorial seat of Kano Central, which by the grace of God, I believe will win. I've seen the introduction is okay.
Distinguished, we have 24 hours now to the election in Kano State. How well prepared are you?
Well prepared, the preparation for election is for you to make people know that you are able to contest. It's for you to say to our party, your manifesto to the people, and we have done that. We have sold our manifesto to the people, we have introduced and sold our strategy to the people, and people have accepted it. And so we are well prepared. We are just waiting for the D-Day. And the D-Day is Saturday when people will go and cast the reports for PRP because of the integrity and the credibility of the party. Because we are different from others. We are different from others because our campaign was much cleaner, much responsible, the most honest campaign. We've never lured people with money before we didn't have money. We are not in government, we are not like government, we are not desperate to win by hook or crooks. We want to win on principle. We want to win because we are going to patronize the people, we are going to work for the people, we are going to cater for the people, and the people are aware of that. So we are very well, we are just waiting for the time. We are waiting for the time for the government and others to give out money to people and people to come and vote us on principle. Because they trust us, because they believe in what we always preach. The gospel we have been preaching is the gospel of truth, the gospel of fairness, and I'm sure we are accepted. We are just waiting, we are prepared, we are very well prepared.
Distinguished, according to the People Report, the incumbent senator who is going, since he was elected, he have never come back to Kano Central to do something good for them. What do you think you can do in terms of employment, empowerment, in construction of various items that people will benefit in Kano?
The incumbent senator, yes, he never did come to do anything for the people. I will do what I did before. In fact, I will double, triple, and even quadruple what I did. When I was in the Senate, I did a lot for the state in my constituency. And people have acknowledged that. That's why I have a very wide acceptance. That's why I was widely respected and accepted by the people. I have represented people very well. I listen to them. I go around to see them. I come back to see them every 2-3 weeks. I sit with the people. I ask for their opinion on projects and matters. And they tell us, and I was always ready to listen and cater for whatever they came with. I assisted in having people trained by NDE. People were trained. Many people from all the governments I was representing were trained and were given facilities for the trades they were trained on. That's one. Two, I have had the opportunity to sink many boreholes in all the local governments, not motorized boreholes, and they are still existing. I went around. I was tuned to assist people to secure jobs. I was tuned to do so many things. And above all, the most important thing, I represented well people by bringing projects to Kano, by bringing so many projects to Kano, like the export-free zone in Panisau, which is a gigantic project of multi-billion naira. And the unfortunate thing is the project is still ongoing because when I left the Senate, nobody cared, nobody was capable, nobody was in a position, nobody knew the importance of this project. So there was no follow-up on the project. Now that, by the grace of God, people know that, now that people are going to vote for us, I'm going to follow up the projects, I'm going to make sure that the project is actualized, I'm not going to make sure that the project is completed, cannot benefit. So, and there's another project I did in Mwasi Dam, Minjula Dam. The dam was constructed by the late government, but it was abandoned because a lot of pollutants were being directed there for justice. You know, especially tanneries and other companies that are dealing with chemicals, very toxic chemicals. So much so that the dam was made useless. Animals could not drink the water because if they do, they'll die. And you cannot farm with it because no crop will survive the chemicals in the water. So I had it purified by the federal government after several follow-ups, and now hundreds of thousands of people are enjoying that dam. Hundreds of thousands of people are fishing, eating the fish, which is the most delicious around, and so on and so forth. So this is part of the project I did. And that project is not for only Constance, it's for Kano State. The export free zone is for Kano State. There's so many trainings I did, it's not for only Kano State. The people I trained are now helping the whole of the state. For example, I was the first person to train people on the repairs, on the technology of repairing mobile phones. In the whole of Nigeria, I selected people, 5 from each local government, gave them a training in Guadalupe and the local government. After graduation, they were given a certificate and I provide them with computers for the execution, their jobs, for the repairs and so on. Now, I'm proud to say that Kano is the leading state in the whole of the country on repairs of mobile phones and the sale of mobile phones. Those that are experts in this were either my products or products of my products. So this is some of the things I did, and some of the few things I did, and I did many things that I cannot say during this interview. But this one, everything I said here was acknowledged by people. That's why anywhere I go, they say, yes, you were the best we had. You, since your time, we never had anybody like you. We have never had a representative, a senator, or any representative that went to the federal government to do anything for us. All the time we elected these people, they went to do contracts. They are on their own, they were fighting for themselves.
This one only 1 week. We have fought them. We have fought election chairman may continue eating everything may settle well. We are very happy with this thing. It's voting now.
You think say this thing in like so many people will say maybe now one political party or another political party and they pressure INEC to say maybe they postpone her. You agree with this statement?
We are not agree with this thing because I will correct Muslim. I believe everything we see will happen about God. Anything we see will happen for me or our family. I believe saying about God. I will correct Muslim. Nothing they shake my mind.
Lastly, you don't get your PVC. You been one vote today before.
Yeah, I get them before, but I believe say anything we see, anything we go say this one go happen, and this thing go happen that. We know our mind no shake with anything now. Anything we have from God.
First thing I want to talk. You don't know many people won't go work today. The money you won't take today, you no go see the money again. That one is number one. That's number two. Now Buhari don't talk. You know say na Atiku, now you won't win today. Now you postpone that thing. Now do now you won't do it. Then you tell them, now do it. You know say na Atiku, now you won't win. Now they postpone that thing. Then you don't try again, no good. Now next week now you go disturb anybody who won't go on. Why not do the election today? Because you know the thing where you know everything where they go. Say na article na you want win today. They persona no good na.
Ya kaji da wannan rushe election din da aka yi.
Gaskiya ba ji daɗi ba saboda na yi bayani gama tare da kuma abubuwa sai ga su lalace.
To ya kake tunani dangane da election din?
Sai yadda suka tsara. Sai yadda suka tsara. Sai mun riga mun zama kamar su kiyari sai da aka juya.
Ya kaji dangane da soke zaben nan?
Na ji ba daɗi gaskiya saboda yanayin da mutane da wani ki an riga an gama shirin zaɓe ga baki ɗaya. To amma dalilin da shugaban zaɓe ya faɗa na ƙasa cewa rashin ƙarasa kayan aiki da wuri kuma an ce wani zaɓe da takwas za a fara shi idan dai hakan ne ya janyo wannan sauke zaɓe to gaskiya hakan shi ne saboda a kai kayan aiki kamar yadda aka faɗa a kan lokaci sannan kuma a fara wannan aiki kuma a gama shi a kan lokaci shi ne kawai abin da ke ganin ya dace a kan
Ya kaji dangane da soke zaɓe da hukuma ta yi?
to gaskiya ni rashin jin daɗi ne saboda menene yasa na jin daɗi saboda mutane suna ta farfaɗar propaganda tunda har yanzu mu dai ba mu ji cikakken bayani ba dai wasu ce saboda za a yi maguɗi ne wasu kuma an ce an shirya maguɗi ne to kuma mu ba mu sani wani ma can imin wani da safen nan wai ofishin INEC ɗin da ya kone wani kuma ya ce ba paper aka kama a motoci tun jiya to ba mu san me dalili ba ne to mu dai so muke dai gaskiya ya kamata a ce in mun fito zaɓe rana ito a tsaya yi zaɓen nan wanda ya ci a bashi ba zancen gwamnati ba zancen siyasa kowa da kowa dai duk tunda dai mu so muke duk musulmai ne amma so muke
Ya suna
na da ci laya ali budlawa
gaskiya dai wannan soke zaɓe ne gaskiya duk mutum da ya riga ya mutu kare da zai ce ba ka amma ni Allah ya sa hannun ya zama alkhairi kuma ga dukkan ya zama sai da za a yi zaɓe lafiya a gama lafiya Allah kuma ba mu sa Malam dan Allah ya haƙuri an soke zaɓe dan Allah ya kaji a ranka.
Ba daɗi haka gaskiya saboda an riga an ɗauki alkawarin cewa za a yi zaben nan tare da ɗaukar mutane sun to daga nesa sosai kuma an ɓata lokaci mutane sun kashe kuɗi su sannan akwai kuɗaɗen da yawa ba ba da biyan allowances ba ko kuma kuɗaɗen da za su yi ɗalibai waɗanda aka ɗauko daga nesa a ba su kuɗin su wanda za su ɗauki samu su yi ko da transport ne saboda wasu ba su to da shiri ba kuma haka ba tunda ba su to da shiri ba ya kamata a ce a ɗan tallafe su ta wannan hanya amma sai aka fi aka ɗan sai dai ka ji labari an ba wa wani wajen ko haka ba.
To ya suna ba?
Suna na sani.
To ma da lafani.
Have your name?
My name is Bob Mangood.
What is your postponement of this election by the Independent Electoral
So far, so good. With what we've heard, that there's been a compromise on election materials and some other issues arising. I think it's a perfect take from the INEC and it's a good decision. We just hope they review it properly and then we have a successful election by the 23rd of this month.
Do you have any advice to Nigerians in regard to this development?
Yes, I have. I think patience is a virtue and I believe that we should just be patient and wait and see. At the end, I think we will be victorious at the end of the day.
Sami, we have your name?
My name is Mark Joseph Anga.
What is your take over the postponement of the election?
Quite right. It is a real disappointment they shut down so many activities, and I expect that INEC by this time around all Nigerians they should have a professional way of handling things. But yet I can't see any professionalism in that. There's leakages all around, and INEC, the security men, I don't know what they are doing. I don't know. Their professionality is not up to date up to now.
What is your call to the security personnel and also INEC in particular?
INEC in particular are responsible for all those problems, and I expect them at least they should stood to their words and they should do something so that they can calm the situation of Nigerians.
Okay.
Nobody is happy now. Nobody can see all.
Casey Moghalu, YPP. Kingsley Moghalu is the candidate of the Young Progressive Party, YPP, for the 2019 presidential election in Nigeria. Moghalu was born in Lagos in 1963. He is the former United Nations official and professor in international business and public policy at the Tufts University Fletcher School of Law and Diplomacy. His campaign promises include 1 billion naira venture capital funding of the creative industry and startup businesses in Nigeria, prioritizing the reformation of the Nigerian police, establish a seaport in eastern Nigeria, and complete the second Niger bridge within 2 years. Omoyele Sowore, AAC. Omoyele Sowore is the candidate of the African Action Congress. He was born in 1971. Sowore is from Eseodo, Ondo State in southwest Nigeria. He is a Nigerian human rights activist, pro-democracy campaigner, and founder of online news agency Sahara Reporters. His campaign promises include to pay workers 100,000 naira living wage, youth corps members to earn 50,000 naira monthly allowance, legalization of Indian hemp. Ade Tokunbo, Olufela Durotoye, ANN. Olufela Durotoye, born in Ibadan, Oyo State in 1971, is the presidential candidate of the Alliance for New Nigeria for the 2019 presidential elections. Fela Durotoye is a business consultant, leadership expert, and motivational speaker. He is the president of the Gemstone Nation Builders Foundation, a non-profit, non-governmental organization targeted at training youth towards transformational leadership and social change. Below are some of his campaign promises if elected. Increase education and literacy rate by up to 90%. Defeat Boko Haram with human intelligence and return internally displaced persons, IDP, and diversify the economy by promoting non-oil sector growth through agriculture, mines, and steel. Atiku Abubakar, PDP. Atiku Abubakar, an indigene of Adamawa State in Nigeria, born in 1946. He is the People's Democratic Party (PDP) presidential candidate for the 2019 presidential elections. Atiku served as the 11th Vice President of Nigeria from 1999 to 2007 under the presidency of Olusegun Obasanjo. Abubakar is a co-founder of Intels, an oil-serving business with extensive operations in Nigeria and abroad. He is also the founder of Adama Beverages Limited and AUN, both in Yola, Adamawa. Campaign promises include privatization of economy, to end pro-Biafra agitation, and 40% cabinet seats for youths. Muhammadu Buhari, APC. The incumbent president, Muhammadu Buhari, is the presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress, APC. Buhari was born in 1942. He is an indigene of Dara in Katsina State, Nigeria. Buhari is a retired Major General in the Nigerian Army and previously served as the nation's head of state from 31st December 1983 to 27th August 1985 after taking power in a military coup d'etat. He unsuccessfully ran for the office of President of Nigeria in the 2003, 2007 and 2011 general elections before defeating Goodluck Jonathan in 2015 to become Nigerian president.
With Citizen Information Network, and this is of course still a live coverage of the 2019 election. This is the presidential election and National Assembly election. Okay, welcome back now. Now I'm joining me on set Dr. Squared, of course a colleague in this business. Dr. Squared, the election voting has commenced across the country, and of course interesting report we are getting about the massive turnout of voters all across the 119 polling units in the country. So far, it's now, let's take at it from this angle now, setting the agenda, because we really have to look at what it's ahead of the winner of today's presidential election. What should Nigerians expect, or what should be the focus of whoever emerges winner in today's election? Because we'll not forget that we have presently in the country a huge number of unemployed people, and of course, according to a report, over 80 million Nigerians living in extreme poverty. Do remember that you can join us live on social media handles, or you can watch live now on YouTube. If you are seeing us live on YouTube, or our website www.cinnigeria.com. So just join us, drop your conversation. If you are watching us on Twitter at TweetWeYan, definitely you can be part of the program also by sending us reports from your locality, wherever you are across the country, and let us know what is going on. The WhatsApp number is 08065350713, and of course, as a matter of truth, you fit Twitter at CIN Nigeria, and you fit see us live also for CIN Nigeria for Instagram. And interestingly now, we would like to hear with the things the way they expect from the person who will win to the election. What you would like to see the president do, what you like to see, how you would like to really then see them work in terms of creating employment. And not forget also, say we would like to know report what did they happen for your different environment, how the voting they go for them. If you see, send us pictures or even videos too, we'll appreciate. And also we'll get across again to our reporters who are on the field monitoring the process in Lagos, in Kano, in Abuja, in Sokoto, Zamfara, Kaduna, and even Port Harcourt. We'll bring you all of these images. But now with Dr. Squared on set now, let's look at the agenda. Very huge number of unemployed Nigerians. Because if we have to set the agenda now, one way, how do we get Nigerians off the streets, get them fully engaged? What should the president, whoever wins this election, prioritize?
Now, basically, let's go down memory lane, and the major issue that have been affecting Nigeria as regards unemployment is non-provision of industries and companies to absorb skilled and unskilled labor. Unskilled labor in the sense that people that have the requisite knowledge to service, and people that have the requisite knowledge as regards skills for service, mental and skills of hands and legs. Yeah. Now, basically, Nigerians who are between the ages of 18 and 50, who are employable, who are capable to, who are fit, we call them the labor force. They need to believe in the Nigerian of agricultural produce that will reduce spoilage, and export and import, inflow and outflow of products and services in and out of the country. With that, before you know what's going on, we are able to lift so many people out of unemployment region to a fully employed region, and people from abject poverty to people that are capable to feed their homes.
Not, Dr. Square. You know, of course, definitely we know Nigerians, we do need this. We know what we need in the country already. But one thing over the years we've always experienced is a lot of campaign promises during elections like this, and even, of course, before election, we have political parties coming out promising so much, talking about what they want to do, and at the end of the day, most of the time, they do not get to deliver on these things. So should Nigerians expect the political parties this time to deliver on the so many promises? Because one thing we are sure of is that the number of unemployed Nigerians has increased from what it was in 2015.
Basically, the number one enemy of the Nigerian state is not the politicians, it is the civil service.
Okay.
So now, basically, a president that is coming in must be policy driven.
Yes.
Policy drives a nation.
So, but all of the candidates that we've talking about since 1999, what we've experienced so far is that they've all come up with so many policies, but at the end of the day, immediately they get into office.
Their policies is basically on papers and legislation. It doesn't get to execution.
So, is that really?
Do you know that as far as this country is concerned now, the Nigerian police force is still running on an act that was way back 1948.
So, but What I'm trying to say here is that you said earlier on that it's about the civil service. So how is this about the employed Nigerians?
The problem we have in Nigeria is structural institutional problems.
Is that not what politicians should put in place?
They should. We can't put that in place without a structured policy that will be executed to the letter. We need a serious government who will say, okay, for Nigeria to work, we need to put this thing and this thing in place, and you must be ready to go all out to ensure that this thing and this thing is put in place. Now let's understand something. We have a treasury single account.
Yes.
But there are some major government institutions are still running parody accounts in debt because the CBN are protecting that. The Central Bank of Nigeria. We have a lot of them. NNPC, the Nigeria Customs Service, the Nigeria Port Authority, the Nigeria Maritime.
No, but of course, it was stated that it's because of the nature of the operation. They are always in need of quick money, and so as such, there are some of the amount generated by these agencies that must stay with the agency for
accountability does not have anything to do with proactive measures. That you need to spend more doesn't mean you shouldn't be accountable. If there's an outpost, yeah, you should be accountable. But we need a really responsible government who is ready to take the bull by the horn. It's not about fighting corruption by words of mouth. It's about, now let me tell you something. It is in this country, let me clear on something. The office of the chief of staff from the presidency to the state is an unconstitutional office.
Yes.
The office of the first lady is an unconstitutional office. We need a government who is responsible enough to Nigerians to ensure that anything, the rule of law, the constitution is sacrosanct.
Yeah.
We have a constitution that stipulates the judicial process, the executive process, the powers, the legislative process, the powers. Let us enact the rudiments of our constitution. Let us understand that for a federal commission to arrest you or prosecute you as a traffic offender, it should ensure the first 7 of its acts. Good roads. We shall ensure that can prosecute the government, that can show the government, okay, if you are not doing this thing, you should expect this feedback from the citizens. We should be able to have a police that will tell the presidency that our officers cannot work when we don't provide the necessities for them to be at par with their mates in other countries.
Definitely you are right with all of this, but honestly, we do understand also that some of the things we're talking about here has to do with the interest of the government, because it has to do with the leader. Whoever is the head of the government, definitely every other person will align with the policy of that particular individual, talking about what the government wants to focus on.
Yes.
So, if a government, for example, just want to focus on power,
if the government,
there's barely nothing any civil servant can do.
If a government wants to let me cause another impression. If a government wants to focus on power, first thing you have to identify with the people. What is the problem?
Very true.
Are you talking about a candidate that is flying private jets here and there for campaigns, who cannot even travel on our roads, cannot even see what's happening in Iwo, the power loss in Iwo, cannot talk about the power loss in Makurdi, cannot talk about the power loss in Jos, who does not know the pains the citizens go through on a daily basis? How do you expect that how do you expect a candidate to be able to get to power and to be able to solve the problems of the ordinary Nigerians on the streets? You don't even know how bad the road from Ojuelegba to CMS is. You have not explained the gridlock from Oshodi to Apapa. You've not been in Odof from Oroshoki to Bonny Camp. You've not explained what's happening from Oka to Enugu. You don't know what's happening from Port Harcourt to Calabar on road. You are not a victim of the battles from So So we have to, even as Nigerians, we have to hold our leaders responsible. In fact, we have to start enacting call-up, impeachments. If you don't do this thing within 6 months, we will impeach you. That's why I want to encourage Nigerians to come out to vote, so that when your vote counts, that's your voice. You can say, "Oh, I voted for you. You are not doing this. I will impeach you."
All right, and of course, do not forget that we'll be joined by an economist later on the program to look at the economy, because at this point we want to set the agenda, and of course we'll definitely have Dele Alimi, is director, is of course the CEO of Institute of Directors in Nigeria. He will join us during the course of this broadcast, as we shall look at into the economy, the small and medium enterprise, developing this sector, because all over the world we know that this is how other nations have been able to build and develop and grow their economy. And of course we'll look also at IGRU by states going forward, even though today is the presidential election, but we just have to look at all of this, and even foreign direct investment. Do not forget also that later on in the program, during this broadcast, we shall be joined by an education consultant, DME Oseni, who will join us to talk to us on this. And of course, honestly also, we'll talk about youth and sport development. Now we have Dele Alimi on the line. Is the CEO, the Director General, Institute of Directors, Nigeria. Hello, sir.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir. How are you today, sir?
I am good, thank you.
Okay. Yes, thank you very much for taking time to join us. And of course, we are live on Citizen Information Network and online TV, looking at the presidential election going on at the moment. So, sir, let's take a look at because we want to set the agenda for whoever gets to win to this election, sir. And let's look at how we can grow the economy through small and medium enterprise. For many years, you were a director with the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry. So far, how can we grow the economy using the small and medium scale enterprise, sir? Well, what do you think whoever wins to the election should be looking at, sir?
Issue we need to tackle is that of infrastructure. Most of the SMEs in Nigeria today are not competitive because they spend so much on creating their own infrastructure. They spend so much on power, they spend so much on transportation, they spend so much on taxes because there are cases of multiple taxation at different level of government. So the lowest hanging fruits we can do to help SMEs are those three things. Improve infrastructure, starting with power. Improve look at the area of multiple taxation and try and rein everybody in such that an SME does not receive visitors almost every week, one from the local government, one from the state government, the FRS also comes, and things like that. And then that way you are able to lower the cost of their production, they are able to produce up to their capacity, and they are able to also engage or employ staff, workers up to their capacity, and take more people off the unemployment market. Once they do that, don't forget anybody that is employed also has an improvement in the amount of money in his pocket, which means there is also more money to be spent by the people within the economy. So it's a cycle that goes round, and once we do that, there is a quantum leap or a quantum improvement in the economy because one, there is more employment for people, there is more money in the pocket of people to spend, which means at the end of the day, the money goes round, goes also to the market demand, goes to the artisan, goes to students who go to school. That way, there is a quantum leap in the economy which will affect everybody, and gradually you start feeling the effect. So for somebody that wins this election, whoever it is, if there can be some level of concentration on tackling this problem that I just mentioned.
Okay,
Without,
sir. Quite interesting all you've said. You've touched on taxation. Now, some people have the opinion that new businesses should be given tax holiday, a period to grow and be fully established before government starts going about taxing them. But then we also would understand that these taxes is how government generates money for the country. So will you support tax holiday for new businesses?
I would support tax holiday for new businesses, but then we need to put it in perspective. And this is what I would say. You see, when a tax holiday is an incentive for you to start business, it has its own advantage. If that incentive is good enough, people actually start business. Starting that business also provides some other opportunities that government can take advantage of. The first one I mentioned is employment.
Yes.
Employment is key. The major challenge in Nigeria is unemployment. So if we are able to encourage people to start business by giving them a tax holiday, and you start SMEs who...
So they show you waiting you see for screen. Waiting people waiting for YouTube. They see so that now you don't leave only your day for your screen. But now we have Delia Limi back. So sorry, sir. I think it was a network challenge there.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
So what I was trying to explain is that even when you give this tax holiday and you are able to attract people to start new companies that will employ people, tax holiday does not get to people paying pay as you earn. That is for staff.
Yes.
They will still pay. So the more people you are able to get into employment, the more money government is able to make from pay as you earn. That is the payee. So at the end of the day, government is still getting, apart from the employment that is being created, government is still getting something from that. So if you have only 10,000 people, just using a hypothetical figure now, in the tax net that are employed, and you have an incentive that is able to now bring in maybe another 5,000, create another 5,000 employment, you are getting now 15,000 people in that net who are going to be paying. So one way or the other, it's also an advantage for government. So it's not a complete holiday that everybody is. It's not a complete holiday because payee has to be paid no matter what. It's only the company that is not paying tax at the beginning of its operation, maybe the first 3 years, maybe the first 5 years, just to encourage the development of such a company. So if we can do it in such a way that to attract entrepreneurs to start new companies and create employment, I am for it.
Okay, sir. Now let's look at another thing which also drives growth in a country is, of course, foreign direct investment. So what should whoever wins today's election do at least differently from what we've been doing in the past to at least attract more investors into the country?
Okay, one major thing is the issue of security. Investors will only go to a place that is peaceful because that is where they are guaranteed return on their investment. Nigeria has everything going for it as far as attracting FDI is concerned. And what do I mean by that? We have the population, which gives us the market. The market is large. A large market is an attraction for any foreign investor. And it's also, Nigeria is a land with so much potential in terms of startups. Startup opportunities abound, which means there are so many things that are being done elsewhere in the world today that can be brought into this country. So there are opportunities for innovation. There are opportunities for new things to happen. So the only thing we need to do now is one, face the issue of security squad. Because as I tell you, there are particular parts of this country today that nobody wants to go. Even the existing investors don't want to go there because of fear of insecurity.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah. The second one is the issue of infrastructure, which I also mentioned earlier on. when people are planning to invest in your country, they will look at the cost of doing business. The cost of doing business, which will make them either competitive or not. After that, we also need to look at our, what I will call our structures, our fiscal policies, our monetary policies. How does it encourage investors to bring their money into your country? Investors do not owe you anything. They are not emotional about their decision. It's a purely business decision. Give them, they must be able to tick their boxes. At every point, okay, does this country give us this? A yes or a no? Does it give us this? A yes or a no? Once you have a lot of no, they will not come. So your fiscal policy must support a system that allows people to invest freely and also to reap the fruit of their labor. So that is also key. Then you must have a very good enforcement of whatever rule you have on the issue of importation and exportation. If people are manufacturing internally in Nigeria, they must have a competitive edge against those that are importing goods into the country. A situation where it is cheaper to import a good into Nigeria than to manufacture in Nigeria will never work well for local production. So that is also key.
Oh, okay. Now, another thing I want us to look at is now, because of course we know agriculture is another way that we can definitely grow and improve economy in this country. So what, from your experience, what do you think we should do differently after today's election? Whoever wins, what should the winner do differently to at least encourage investment, massive investment in agriculture in the country? Because of course, if we cannot produce what we eat, we'll definitely be spending a whole lot of money importing food from other countries.
Well, on the contrary, I don't want us to look at what we can do differently. I even want us to look at what we are doing now and whether we are actually not just paying lip service to it. There's so much incentives on ground. Yes. But look, I can tell you from practical experience that they are just lip service. I'll give you a personal example. In response to the various incentives put in place by a particular state government, I don't want to mention them.
Yes. Yeah.
I also got interested and I applied for land under the particular agri scheme in that state. It's my state of origin. And what happened at the end of the day was that I had done everything I was supposed to do. I've been allocated land. Now I think 20 years. I'm not taking physical possession of that land till now. I've not been able to plant one seed on that land in almost 2 years.
Wow.
Imagine if I had gone to a bank to borrow money thinking, oh, now I have all my plants set out and everything. And I have not been able to till the soil in 2 years. That is my own personal experience. I don't know what is happening to other people. So I'm just telling you, even the policy now to encourage agriculture, we are only paying lip service to it. Yes, I can assure you that I can see more focus on agri.
Yeah.
But the truth of the matter is that there isn't a proper follow-up to ensure that all these policies we put in place are actually being enjoyed by people who are interested in investing in agriculture as it should. Most people who are enjoying agriculture now are foreigners who brought in funds, cheap funding from outside Nigeria, and are able to put those cheap funds to work for them. The Chinese, the Indians, because what they do, they have what I call import and export bank in their country that supports their foreign into other nations. Because at the end of the day, what do? They get the crop, they get either through direct purchase or through farming, and take it also back to their country, process it and bring it back to this country at very exorbitant rates. So we need to, one, work on the incentives to make sure that people actually get it, improve local production. Secondly, in order to ensure that we really get the value, we should now work on the issue of value addition locally. Instead of exporting cocoa seed, can we add value to it? Instead of exporting oil, can we add value to it? Instead of exporting yam, can we add value to it to some extent? Am I making sense? So if you add that value, what you have done is to encourage primary agriculture, encourage the farmers, and then the secondary agriculture, which is the agro-processing, you are also encouraging it. Not only will you be encouraging the secondary agriculture, you will also now be producing a good source of local raw materials, agro-local raw materials for the manufacturers. That will be bringing down the cost of manufacturing in Nigeria and improve the cost of manufacturing. So please add this value chain that, if well harnessed and started, can help this country. And it is not rocket science, my brother. It's just about paying attention, putting the right people there, and then proper monitoring and evaluation of what we are doing to ensure that we really are hitting the nail on the head and adding value. This is different from the area of even provision of food. 200 million people must eat. It's even different. Provision of food is another great opportunity. That is even different. I'm now even talking about moving forward from the primary production of food into even the secondary agro-processing, which will help in improving our export, the quality of our export, and the quantity of our export, and the money we can make from export, and then the issue of even the raw material. We have so many companies in Nigeria today, and the base of their production is agro. They are using agro raw material, and I tell you, they import most, if not up to 80%, of what they use in their production line.
Okay. But now, in fact, I like the example you just gave, and how you have to start with your personal experience. Of course, I've heard people talk about, share their experience, how it's very difficult to at least start up investment in agriculture. But we know over the years, we have a Bank of Industry set up for this purpose to assist, and of course, even a Bank of Industry for the agro processing businesses and all of the rest. Do you really think we have done so much in making this fund really accessible by Nigerians over the years?
Well, to answer that question is neither here nor there. I must confess, the Bank of Industry is really doing their best in making these funds available. But then there are condition precedents that you must meet to be able to access those funds. A Bank of Industry will not in any way compromise on those condition precedents. And that is where the issues are. Most SMEs, most micro companies in Nigeria have found it hard to meet those condition precedents because of some of the things I've enumerated before now. And that is where the fund is there, it's available, but people cannot access it because they cannot meet most of them cannot meet the conditions as put down by the BOI. Because these conditions will also require some things you will have done either as a primary producer or either as a secondary processor and things like that. And if you cannot meet them, I won't blame the BOI because it's supposed to be a revolving loan. You get it, you return it, somebody else take advantage, also take advantage of it. So if they cannot guarantee that you'll be able to give back this money, they will not give you. So this is the issue. So we need to really look at that and see how we can help our SMEs to qualify. I know they are doing a lot of training and everything, but how efficient and effective it is another thing. They are trying to do that now. They seem to have also realized what I'm saying. But then how efficient and effective that has been, I don't know. So there's a need to really on that so that more people can qualify. The money is lying down there. And it's a waste for our nation if such money is there and nobody can access it. The money is there, but nobody can access it because of those conditions, which has to be there. You can't blame them. It has to be there. Because it must be sure that you have the capacity to use this money properly and to return it so that somebody else can also take advantage of it. But I see a lot of capacity issues within that sector, such that it is almost impossible for so many organizations to access that.
All right, and of course, there is this other angle to even the economy, which we've been talking about over the years, diversifying the economy, moving away from oil-driven economy to an economy that is more sustainable when we have other sectors. We just talk about the agriculture. Well, of course, we have the maritime sector and all of. Now, talking about diversification, have we really done so well in terms of diversifying the economy from oil-based economy to a more sustainable economy?
We must face facts, and the fact is that every process is time.